I hope you don't define like waiting a week or two as old age. Not judging. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about Jewell County, named after Lewis R. Jewell. This guy right here. So, Louis Jewell was born in 1822 in Middlesex County in Massachusetts. So, here. Jewell was raised by Methodist parents, did everything from working for the Spalding Pond Company, operated a steamboat for a couple years. He had a pretty interesting life and did a lot of different things with manufacturing, business, and a lot of different interests. He's going to come to Kansas in the 1850s because of the opportunities that exist in Kansas Territory. He's specifically going to be interested in southeastern Kansas, which is located right here on the Kansas-Missouri border, about 50 miles from Arma, give or take. So, while there, he was technically not allowed to live there because that was the Cherokee neutral lands. That was land set aside for the Cherokee Native Americans. Him and a bunch of fellow settlers are about to be run off by General Sturgis, who says, well, hold on, we're going to parlay in a place called Cato. Basically where this black dot is right here. Yeah, kind of in between Farlington and Arcadia, right here in the middle of what is today Bourbon County, but then it was Crawford County. Okay. Him and Mr. Sturgis come to an agreement. They agree to parlay. They agree to not fight each other, and they're going to send a commission to Washington to talk about settlement of southeastern Kansas. But in 1861, something else happens that prevents them from going to Washington to talk about that. That something being the Civil War. Jewell signs up and is almost immediately put in charge of a small unit at Fort Scott, and he spends a good chunk of the war at Fort Scott protecting it from border ruffians. Jewell spent most of his time in Kansas in this southeastern portion of the state. He was settled here at Fort Scott and just made sure that he was protecting of this. So this was really his area here, which makes it weird that his county's all the way up here. Anyways, during the Civil War, he's going to take place in a lot of different combat units. He's actually going to take place in a lot of fights that occur in Arkansas once he leaves Fort Scott. He's going to come up against General Sterling Price more than a few times and actually does very well with his unit in repealing a lot of Price's advances. On November 30th in 1862, he is going to be involved in a skirmish where he leads a group of volunteers to attack a Confederate line that is charging. He takes his saber, attacks one of the invading Confederates, says it splits him from his head to his shoulder, and while that is happening, the Confederate pulls his revolver and empties it into Jewell. Jewell is taken prisoner and is almost immediately exchanged, and then later on November 30th in 1862, he passes away. His body was buried 3 different times, once in the National Cemetery at Fort Scott, then again at Evergreen Cemetery, and today you can actually find its monument and final resting place at Evergreen Cemetery in Arcadia, Kansas. So, Jewell County, named after someone who saw a vision for southeastern Kansas, did everything he could to protect it during the American Civil War, and then gave his life in trying to make the America a free state and keep Kansas free. There you go.